Chapter 25, Episode 5. Karla woke up very confused. She realized she didn't know where she was. She remembered that if she was naked, she should be next to Artemis, or at least be able to smell her in the pillow. It wasn't even a bed she was lying on. It was a cot. There was a light, but no windows. There was a toilet and a sink, but no walls around them. There was a heavy wooden table with two heavy wooden chairs. There was a shelf with plastic cups and plates. It was clear to her that it was all wrong. She wondered for a minute if she was in a dream, but remembered that the last thing she remembered was being outside with fresh bread. She felt panic and exposure. That was quickly replaced by rage. She put her hand on her vagina to make sure it was there, that it hadn't been taken. Now usually in such a situation, Artemis should have phoned the police. She didn't know much about the police other than the information she gathered with the 2 visits on the highway. She knew her instincts. She was trained to know them, and she had the skills. Karla had been gone for half an hour when Artemis was on her way to the store that sold fresh bread. Artemis had taken the B&B owner's dog. Not all dogs were good trackers, but they were likely to be in rural Maine, where dogs had things to do. Artemis was a good tracker, but most any dog was better at a scent. Artemis had grabbed Karla's underwear. The dog loved it. When Artemis tucked the panties in a pocket and threw her arm forward, the dog went looking. He kept his nose to the ground and his tail beating. The dog would recognize the smell of the smallest amount of fallen off dead skin that was always fallen off of humans. When Artemis and the dog got up and around the bend from the bed and breakfast, the dog made a right turn into the woods. Artemis would have done the same thing after seeing the scuff marks in the gravel at the side of the road. There were twigs broken along the way and heavy footprints. The trail ended at a dirt road. The dog stopped and found nowhere to go. Artemis knew where to go. Footprints and big boots and scuff marks that were likely Karla's. Tire tracks from a car that had obviously belonged to the vehicle that drove them away. The bits of thrown gravel and dirt indicated the direction was not back to the main road, but into the woods. Artemis studied the tire tracks for a few more seconds to memorize their pattern, then started running up the road. She watched to make certain no tracks left the road, but there was nowhere to go but deeper into the woods. Trees lined both sides. The abductor, meanwhile, was watching Karla on his monitor. He wasn't surprised when she got up from her cot and threw the plastic cups and plates around. Even the swinging of a chair against the cellar door. He had seen it all before. A new girl would be upset and confused. Then after a few days she would break down, beg for mercy. He would then bring her some food with a mild sedative, caress her, tell her some bad things had happened. It wasn't safe to go outside. He would protect her. He didn't think about what he would do to her as he absent-mindedly played with his penis. He did realize his dog was barking just as he was ready to ejaculate. Just a rabbit. Artemis could hear the dog that had come with her had met another dog. The 2 dogs got on well and were off running through the woods before Artemis could see the other dog. It was not a guard dog. Artemis recognized the tire tracks, so didn't need the dog to confirm skin smells. When she peered into a window to see a 27-inch computer screen with Karla naked and smashing a chair against a wall, there was no need for further verification. Artemis didn't stop to contemplate how to deal with the situation. Her grandfather, who she now knew was actually her mother's grandfather, had taught her to let instinct be the guidance for such situations. She didn't stop to wonder if it was in her nature to kill someone just because they had kidnapped and perhaps intended to rape her only real close friend. Artemis picked up a fair-sized log and threw it through a plate glass door. She could have just opened it. It was not locked. But she didn't. She was making a dramatic entrance to catch the attention of the man at the computer, get him to turn around and face his death. He had weapons to defend himself, but the only thing he had at hand was his dick. It was in his hand and spitting out spunk as he stumbled out of his big chair and got a look at the surprised visitor. At first he thought he was fantasizing. Then he saw her walk barefoot over the glass like Jesus over a stormy lake. Unlike Jesus, the apparition was throwing something shiny toward him. He started to put up his arm to block it, but he was too late. The knife stuck in his throat. Artemis took the knife out of his throat before he fell over, crashing face down on the floor. He knew what happened. He knew what was happening. He could even hear the invader took the computer and threw it out a window, spraying glass over the flower bed next to the porch. Not my computer, he thought. He had time to think of a few other things. If he wasn't in shock, he might be able to drive himself to the next hospital. But his neck had a big hole in it that he had to hold with both hands. His pants were around his ankles, and he knew the killer was still in the house. Karla heard the crashing and smashing and grabbed a chair leg to use as a weapon. Karla? Artemis? Were you expecting someone else? Can you open the door, please?